Welcome to what is happening in today with Crowning Thoughts. Santiago DC Maria Truth Speaker.
Why are we afraid? The system cannot function without us. We are the slaves keeping it running, while they are the freeloaders twisting everything against us. Without us, they do not exist. In the cold grip of a system designed to crush the very people who sustain it, we find ourselves once again confronting the brutal reality of unchecked power. Why do we tremble in fear when the machinery of oppression relies entirely on our labor, our silence, and our submission? The elite freeloaders, those who leech off our sweat and blood, manipulate every narrative to vilify us, to divide us, to ensure we never rise up and dismantle their fragile empire. But remember this unbreakable truth. Without us, the workers, the dreamers, the everyday warriors holding society together, they cease to exist. Their thrones crumble, their lies evaporate, and their control shatters. It's time to shed the chains of fear and recognize our collective might. And now, in the latest outrage that exposes the rotten core of this regime, we witness the MAGA psychopaths desperately scrambling to justify the cold-blooded murder of an innocent American citizen at the hands of ICE, a heinous act that screams of authoritarian overreach and demands our unyielding fury. Let's cut through the fog of propaganda and face the facts head-on. On January 7, 2026, in the heart of Minneapolis, a 37-year-old American woman named Renee Nicole Good, a born and raised U.S. citizen, a member of her community, and someone who posed no threat to anyone, was gunned down in broad daylight by an ICE officer. This wasn't some high-stakes chase or a defensive maneuver. It was an execution, plain and simple. Federal officials, echoing the twisted playbook of the Trump administration, immediately spewed lies, claiming Renee tried to mow down agents with her car during an immigration raid. But the truth, captured on video and corroborated by local authorities, paints a horrifyingly different picture. Renee was slowly turning her vehicle away, driving at a crawl, when the officer shattered her driver's side window with a point-blank shot to her head. No imminent danger, no aggressive intent, just a white American woman slaughtered by the very forces sworn to protect our borders. The video evidence is damning, undeniable, and gut-wrenching. From the angle where the first shot rang out, Renee's car was nowhere near endangering the agents. She wasn't accelerating toward them. She was attempting to navigate away from the chaos these armed thugs had unleashed. Yet, in a split second, her life was extinguished, her blood staining the streets of a city that prides itself on community and justice. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey and Minnesota state officials didn't mince words. They called the federal account a blatant falsehood, a cover-up designed to shield a killer hiding behind a badge. Governor Tim Walz's administration echoed this, demanding a full investigation into what they described as an unjustified homicide. Even witnesses and community leaders decried it as murder, pointing out that ICE had no business escalating a routine operation into a deadly confrontation. But here's where the true depravity reveals itself. The MAGA cult, those blind zealots who worship at the altar of Trumpism, leaped into action to defend this atrocity. Donald Trump himself, ever the accessory to chaos, justified the killing, framing it as a necessary evil in his relentless war on immigrants, even though the victim was a full-fledged American citizen. His lapdog, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, took to a press conference in Minneapolis to parrot the lies, blaming everyone from local Democrats to Governor Walz for somehow provoking the incident. Noem's words dripped with the arrogance of unchecked power, insisting the officer acted in self-defense, while ignoring the irrefutable evidence that screams otherwise. This is the same Noem who has built her career on fanning the flames of division. And now she's shielding a murderer because it fits the MAGA narrative of law and order, a code for brutalizing anyone who dares to exist outside their narrow vision of America. Democratic leaders in Congress didn't hold back, condemning the shooting as an outrageous abuse of power and calling for immediate accountability. They highlighted how this tragedy is the inevitable outcome of Trumpist authoritarianism, a raw, unfiltered application of policies that prioritize fear-mongering over human lives. As one opinion piece thundered, rioting in response might play into Trump's hands, but silence is not an option when our fellow citizens are being executed in the streets. This isn't just about one woman's death. It's a stark warning of the escalation in deportations and raids under the current regime, where ICE agents operate like rogue death squads, emboldened by a Supreme Court stacked with Republican ideologues who might shield them from prosecution. Think about the broader implications, the chilling ripple effects that this murder sends through our communities. Renee Nicole Good was not an immigrant. She was one of us, a reminder that no one is safe when federal agents are given carte blanche to kill without consequence. Survivors of similar violence, like a Chicago woman previously shot by Border Patrol, reacted with grim resignation. Of course, this happened. It's no surprise in a system where ICE and its enablers lie about self-defense to justify cold-blooded acts. We've seen this pattern before: unmarked cars, plainclothes officers ambushing people, escalating minor encounters into fatalities. Just months ago, similar outrages unfolded, like the killing of a single father with no criminal record, gunned down after dropping his kids at school, all because ICE decided to play judge, jury, and executioner. And yet, the MAGA psychopaths twist themselves into knots to defend it all. They flood social media with distortions, claiming self-defense despite video proof to the contrary. One ex-post after another reveals their bloodthirsty glee. Anyone claiming this is self-defense clearly has no idea what they're talking about. Mocked critics, only for MAGA trolls to double down, insisting the victim deserved it for merely existing in the wrong place. They ignore the facts: the slow-moving car, the lack of threat, the point-blank execution, because admitting the truth would shatter their illusion of righteousness. These are the same hypocrites who scream about protecting Americans while cheering the slaughter of one. Their cultish devotion to Trump blinds them to the humanity of anyone caught in the crossfire, turning them into apologists for murder. This isn't isolated, it's systemic. From the wrongful deportations of U.S. citizens to the brutal raids that tear families apart, ICE under MAGA influence has become a weapon of terror. Remember the cases where agents killed immigrants with no records, lying about the circumstances to evade justice. Or the drunk driving illegals they selectively highlight to stoke fear while ignoring their own agents' atrocities. The double standard is nauseating. While they deport and destroy lives in the name of security, they justify the murder of Americans like Renee because it serves their agenda of division and control. Trumpism has always led here to tragedies born of hatred, where peaceful protests are met with bullets and the powerful escape accountability. We must rise above the fear they've instilled. Why are we afraid when we hold the power? The system grinds to a halt without our participation, our votes, our voices, our resistance. The freeloaders at the top, twisting every event to suit their narrative, depend on our division to survive. But united, we can demand justice for Renee Nicole Good, prosecute the killer, dismantle the lies, and hold the MAGA enablers accountable. This murder is a clarion call to action, to protest, to speak out, to vote out the psychopaths who justify such barbarism. Without us, they are nothing. Let's make them feel that truth in every fiber of their being. Follow so we can stay connected. Your support matters more than you know, and I appreciate every moment you give to listen. Your support is important to me, and it helps me a lot. It keeps me active, bringing you important information with your support and comments, likes and shares. Feel free to like, support, and subscribe. I will always provide content for you. I appreciate every support you give. Crowning Thoughts, True Speaker, copyright 2025 by Santiago D.C. Maria, licensed under Creative Commons Attribution. I love you all and I appreciate each of you. Stay blessed. Thank you for listening. Love always. Santiago D.C. Maria.